bit of reddish brown in it. So I could make my own burnt umber if I took burnt sienna and I mixed a touch of that with raw umber. I would create something that looks like identical to burnt umber. If I start with burnt umber, how am I going to make raw umber if I want my brown to look a little like gray? So I just been doing that for years. So
is that raw sienna next to the white? Is that raw sienna? What color is next to the white?
Okay.
Yellow ochre.
This is yellow ochre. This is raw umber. That's my grayish white. And this is burnt sienna. That's my reddish white. So those are what's called my primary white. Okay, that's getting working. Good enough. Generally, I'll let this happen for about 15 minutes, sometimes half an hour if I can wait.
If you spread it around like you did, it soaks more of it up.
Yeah. It's pretty good. See, now it's probably not much oilier than the raw umber. But they're going to mix together pretty well. Okay, so I used odorless. Actually, this is called odorless
White spirit.
I used to go to the art supply store and buy terpenoid and other artsy brands, you know, like
Artsy.
you get a little bottle for $12 or something. Then hardware stores started selling terpenoid in a can. Then in the past year, I would go to the hardware store and the terpenoid was gone. I couldn't find it anymore. But what they have started selling is this odorless mineral spirit, and I think it works great. I think it's probably the same thing as the oil-based terpenoid.
Interesting.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
You know, so I can buy a quart can and use it for 3 years. And it works great, cleans your brushes great, and stuff like that. So the first thing I'll do is I'll take a little of my little white, and I'll add some Payne's Gray. Added too much Payne's Gray.
I've done that so many times.
That's okay. There's my shadow color. I'll just add more white. If this room has like incandescent lighting, it looks pretty neutral, you know.
Well, what kind of light do you paint it?
Sometimes the lighter you get, the Payne's Gray you can really see the blue in it. Some companies will tell you, they'll have a list of the pigments that they use for, you know, but those are expensive companies.
Yeah, I'm working mainly with the Winton paints. I find they're good.
I think they're fine.
What are these?
And I'd rather pay $4.50 than $45 for the same color. And in this size, I think student grade paint works just great.
Where do you find these?
Oh, this is, there's a store called Graph Aids, and sometimes if you can still find an art supply store.
Yeah.
Well, you can go, you can look online like Blix, and there's another one.
You ever go to Art
These are
Supply
like-
Warehouse? in
Cheap
Westminster?
Joe's.
Yeah.
These are like discount art supply websites, and they'll carry 6 or 8 different company brands.
Yeah,
What I
but-
like about this brand is made in Richardson. It's made in Wisconsin. And so I know that their pigments are very high quality, but because there's no exchange rate, you know, they cost a lot less money. An American company today can sell for a lot less money than the other companies that, you know, the art supply stores. Normally they have paint that's from, well, Winsor & Newton is England,
Yeah.
or white base color. What I normally do is I take some yellow ochre and raw umber. And what this gets you is something that looks very much like U.S. Army olive drab. So these are right out of the tube, so they're very dark. But I believe when I start to lighten it, I'll put a little more yellow in there. The other thing about oil paint is that I always mix the color on the palette before I thin it to paint with. Because, I mean, you think about it, the painter is standing there with his little wooden palette with the little thumb hole, and you know, and he's got to do this, and you know, and so they're actually meant, because oil is so wet, these are designed to mix very quickly, to change colors very quickly. Okay. So now, if I add some white, I'll just get cleaner white.
This was what?
Raw umber.
Raw umber and yellow.
Yellow, okay. U.S. Army olive drab. And in fact, if you're doing U.S. Army figures and things like that, you'll know that the U.S. Army made a variety of different olive drab that was some greener, some browner.
Yeah.
And when you lighten this enough,
I thought I saw something that said they mixed black and yellow ochre.
oh, that's to get, I can do that with Payne's Gray also. You get this gorgeous forest green. I don't, a lot of the French troops have dark green uniforms. You know, the dragoons and the Cheshires and the, you know, Imperial Guard cavalry and things like that. But green oil paint tends to be very shiny, and so I always start with yellow ochre and Payne's Gray, and because Payne's Gray has a lot of blue pigment in it, it's ultramarine blue pigment, you can make this beautiful, perfect dark green to start with. Okay. Now let's see if we can pull this off. Okay. I'm getting into kind of, this is probably going to be pretty close to khaki. Or army tan, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of tan colors have kind of red or pink in them, and I want to avoid that. If I want to err on the side of greenish. That's not bad.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I could even go darker. Here, that thing is happening where I'm looking at this against white.
Yeah.
So when I'm painting things, when I make a color on with my artist palette knife,
Yeah, right.
I always hold it against the figure. See, that's surprisingly, this is actually too light to match that.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, look at that.
So I could darken that a little bit. And this is not going to change because it's oil paint. It's not going to get darker when it dries. It's going to stay the
Let
same.
me ask you this, can you apply that straight to the figure now, or should you thin it?
I have to thin it. There are some people who, well, I don't know how they do it, but because what these are made for, again, going back to the guy
Portraits
in the
and, yeah.
studio with the palette
Yeah.
and the naked model in front of him, the oil paint brushes are not like these. The brushes we use are
Like
sable
points,
or
yeah.
imitation sable,
Yeah.
and they're a soft brush, and they're actually watercolor brushes. This one is a Winsor & Newton Series 7, and it's a pointed brush, and it's made for watercolor, like watercolor details. And the artist paintbrushes are made out of hog's hair, bristle. They call them bristle brushes. They're very stiff. They're like, I mean, if you touch that figure, you'd break off pieces with a bristle brush.